Well, hello everyone. My name is Yuanning Feng. I'm also a Foresight Fellow 2022. Also got the Student Award 2021. I'm not going to talk about my research. You might find that online, but I'm more interested on the collaboration work with Foresight for the tech tree project. My title is about yesterday, today, and tomorrow, which I will talk about what we have done during the past 10 months, and what we are currently working on, and more important is the future. So here's a figure showing that the development of different technology. You can see from real world, automobile, computer, and right now the nanotechnology. They have different strengths. At the beginning, they are slowly developing. And then it started very fast and gave a lot of help for our society. Then everyone just using them, just like a computer, cars right now. But nanotechnology is relatively new. It's just started relatively a few decades ago. And now it's on its way, acceleration its development. So you will see more and more technology have been applied based on the nanotechnology. So that's kind of from the Industrial Revolution to information revolution. Maybe we'll seek in the future some revolutionary development in our life. So I'm very optimistic for the future. As I just introduced my larger phases of start, I actually got the Nobel Prize in Chemistry back to 2016 with Professor Jean-Pierre Savard in France, and also Professor Ben Feringa in the Netherlands for the design and synthesis of artificial molecular machines. And the concept of the artificial molecular machine actually came back to 1991. And it's just a few years if you consider the long history of the Industrial Revolution. So there's a lot could be done in the future. One of the examples is about the nanocar. That there's a nanocar racing actually a few years ago. It's that a small molecule is much, much smaller than the DNA origami actually. It's the fundamental basic building block of all our molecules. And those cars can actually move on the surface, and you can characterize it of the unidirectional motion by the TM, for example, you just introduced. And what is real look in our real life? This is a picture in University of Groningen, Netherlands, the HQ of Professor Ben Feringa. They have a sculpture actually on the ground, and you can sit on the driver's seat of this car. But it actually can do much more important things if we reduce the size 10 over the 10, or the power 10 of times smaller. And that's something in the future we will do. And we are working on a tech tree project. So here's a question: why do we make a tech tree? So right now, there's a FIFA workout. They come to the knockdown stage. Here's I just type into the launch time. It's pretty long. You can't know what's actually going on. But here's a tree for the FIFA workout. What's going on? So using tech tree or using a tree-shaped image is relatively much easier and faster for anybody, not only for the scholar, but also for the general audience to navigate what has been done during the research, just like this very obvious result for the workout. So that's why Foresight asked me and other contributors to build a technology tree in order to popularize the development of the artificial molecular machines. So this is an overview of our tech tree. You can see we have different sections. They are divided in different islands because different contributors have different expertise. And finally, those islands will connect with each other by the bridges so that everyone can easily navigate what has been developed in the field. I really want to acknowledge my contributor, not only myself, but also Isabella Jodaslik. She gave a presentation in the Vision Weekend in France. And also Marco was in France as well, and Kun right now in the audience, who is also a Foresight Fellows, who have already contributed in this tech tree. The tech tree have a different version because we are currently updating on a daily basis. And we have different protocols, as you can see, including the technology, application that have been already in the field, and also some challenge and futures that we think is much more important in the future. Furthermore, we have laboratories and companies that we want to indicate because people may want to seek for collaboration, and tech tree can help them very easily, just as I told you. It's a very user-friendly, it's a web-based user interface. I hope in the future everyone can contribute and join our team in any sort of way for the tech tree project. So here's our team. You can see we actually have a very broad background. We came from 6 different countries, and including a background not only scientists but also engineers. When you have a meeting, it's quite interesting because we have different time zones. We're collaborating in different. Someone just get up, someone need to go to that, but we still in a young team, so we really enjoy the collaboration here. This is Isabella and Marco. I just told you they give a nice presentation about factory in France. There's a QR code there. If you can't scan that, you can scan on the wall. I will show the QR code at the end. That's direct you to the website of the factory. I mean, and Kun Yu is taking charge of the US Vision Weekend section. Feel free to discuss with me after my presentation. We used to build a prototype of the factory based on the Google drawing file, because before that, the Foresight Institute hadn't found the IT team to develop a specific platform. So we already started to collaborate for the factory project based on that. At that stage, we have 4 main categories and 331 nodes, including 8 sub-nodes and 152 references. You can see whole piles of references like this, like a library. You can easily access that by clicking them. We already organize those references for you. And this visualized user interface is actually not only for the scholar, but more importantly, in my personal opinion, is for students and for the public to navigate and know what's going on in the research field. Because comparing with other tech tree fields, as you may already know, there are 5 different tech trees. Nanotechnology or molecular machine is kind of different, because other technology have more broader interest from the public. People know how the, let's say, space science or neuroscience have already developed. They know they are very keen on the longevity, for example. But for the nanotechnology or molecular machine, in academia, there are more academia conferences or symposiums, but for the general public, they know very few about the frontier research in the field. That's why I think tech tree is very important to publicize the research in the field. I just continue to introduce our prototype. You can see we have subnode, because subnode is kind of more detailed, in-depth introduction for each of the topics. And we have references. Those are kind of linked, or we already organized, including the books, reviews, communication, and articles. And this is one of the examples of the subnode. You can see when you enter the subnode, you can learn like the structure formula and also in-depth application and challenges in specific research topic. Then about 3 or 4 months ago, Foresight Institute developed a web-based user interface. You can see on the right-hand side, it's much more colorful and user-friendly. You can find the information much easier based on the color code, and maybe we will introduce comment function so that people will add what they want and say what they think for each of the nodes.
Does it still keep the references? How does that work?
The reference direct you to a let's say, journals, articles.
So like if you click on a node, does it show you the references?
It will jump directly to the reference.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So let me introduce how to make the new tech tree. The reason I introduce you is hope you can join maybe in the future, just so how simple it is. So you can create a new node in the platform, let's say just chemistry. When you have one topic, you can easily add a line with an arrow to link that to a new node, including different topics of chemistry, for example. You can even change the style in order to have a better visualizations. Here are some examples. You can even create this box-in-box structure that can have another indication for the different field. So you can just right-click one of the nodes, create a child node, or each of the child nodes can be detached from their parent node. And for each of the nodes, you can change the color in any sort if you just know the RGB code of each node. And you can change the border, the color, and also have different label. And even though you can have a background for each of the nodes, you can also change the font size so that you can easily find out which part is more important. When you click each of the nodes, we actually have a very long description. not only the link, as I just told you, that to the direct reference. Something is about Wikipedia, which is easier for the public, some are for the scientific literature, which is in-depth introduction. And we actually copy some of the information for you that if you just want to have a quick look of that. You can also click on each of the line between two nodes. That actually indicates the relationship between different nodes, which you can also helpful for your navigation. This is one example I want to introduce you. This is island so-called biomimic molecular machines. You can see different colors, right? First is a normal white color is the technology, is what we have already achieved. Then we have this orange color, it calls challenges and bottleneck, what we need and hope to solve. So someone may want to see the challenge, so you just find orange color. And you can see some come to the end, but some of them actually link to the application or the future. This actually, if you overcome the challenge, what you will have in the future. So someone will want to see what's in the future, so we can find those here. And future is about if we really overcome the challenge, we can accomplish those. And finally, it's about who are the pioneer of this node. So we actually give the very quick access for the links and name for those companies. Some others are about the research laboratory all around the world, so you can easily find the collaborators. I think Ben in the morning introduced about it's not easy to find a collaboration. For myself as a researcher, I attend the international or national conference. I talk with those people, professors or students, and I try to find collaboration. But it's considered not very high efficient, right? You need to register, you need to find the right conferences. But maybe in the future, based on tech tree, you can find the information in an easier way. And as a Foresight collaborator, we have some of the domain experts, not only the Foresight mentors on the left-hand side, but also our contributor to the tech tree have found different professors actively in the academia in the field of nanotechnology or molecular machine to ask them for the feedback. So we actually have about 17 professors, and even from the, let's say, the editor-in-chief of CAN, it's a journal expertise, who gave me lots of feedback for the tech tree. They mostly give positive feedback, but I still learn a lot. For example, we need to highlight the challenge and the application in the tree. So I really appreciate those feedback. And in the future, we will ask more experts and to have more feedbacks. And furthermore, not only from the feedback from those aspects, I want to get feedback from more general public, which is more important. So I hope in the future we have some functions such as like a node, like the social media. You know, social media have a very great influence. So you can like a node or react to a node. You like it, you don't like it. What's wrong with this node? Or you can comment on a node. You just type in, oh, for example, Eric said, for this node, I think blah blah blah. So people will think they are part of this project. So they can kind of, oh, I want to introduce the tech tree because I comment on some of the nodes. So that makes enormous influence to the whole society. And maybe you can add your own node, not only the company. For example, someone comments saying, why don't you add my name? So I want to add my name. Just send, rather than send an email, they can just add it on the node and add their own challenge so that we can review that and add to the node directly, maybe after another day. So the interactive switches is some function I think we could add, because someone told me, oh, Yuanning, if you add those functions, it will be very messy. There are hundreds of thousands of people will comment their own opinion on the node. But if we have a switch, you can switch it off, or those can be disappear. You can find the kind of more expert after approval version, which gives you a clean version. So something I just think about. So what the future holds, I just summarized here, is transferring our prototype to the new user interface and make our tech tree bigger and bigger. That's actually cover a broader interest of the science community. And also we are keen on creating well-defined challenge for the boundary, getting more feedback from domain experts, and presenting the tech tree to a bigger audience. And we, as I just told you, I'm keen on reviewing comments from the general public so you can interact with your with our tree in the future. So those are some contact information, including our email and Twitter and some Mastodon just recently. So feel free to contact us if you have any idea for the tech tree. So for making a platform to attract more people, here are some other summaries about research on microchip has a big potential. We want to highlight that. I told you, like the revolution, not only industrial, but the information. And tech tree can create and catalyze new collaboration. I really hope this platform built by Foresight can help people not only in the science community, but also the general audience can collaborate with each other. Therefore, we can have more people will accumulate to this field, and a popular multidisciplinary science will rise. And more funds, more people, and greater impact. Finally, we will get more funds, so make it bigger and bigger. So we can change the field in the future based on maybe tech tree can be a bit of contribution. That's really very often this future, in my personal opinion. And as I told you, if you want to have a look what it looks like right now, the tech tree just scan the QR code. You can zoom in, play with that, see what have we already done. And as I told you, you can just leave some message for me or Isabella. So yeah, keep in touch with you all. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Okay, we have 12 minutes of Q&A.
Great.
If anyone would like to go.
So does the interface has history or timestamp of the editing, like Wikipedia, for example?
That's a good point. Right now they haven't, so we just keep updating without have a timeline. But that's something certainly we want to think about. Maybe we want to fall back to version. Yeah.
Or like one of the benefits of having that, I guess, is let's say some of the challenges may be outdated already because you already have new methods that solve those challenges. So you can figure out easily which one to update.
Yes, yes. Or alternatively, we can add a timestamp on each of the nodes to see when it has been added in the past, so people will know those are old nodes, those are new nodes, and they can, after they publish, you can see it's published 1 second ago, right? Just like Twitter, something like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Have you had people outside of Foresight actually pick this up and start working with it, like different communities of different fields? Like, for example, in climate, people are like really looking for something.
Yeah, I think in the future we are seeking for collaboration with other disciplines. Yeah, there are actually another startup company looking for collaboration for the Foresight tech tree project because they think right now we are reviewing the tech tree by yourself, but they try to use a machine learning to help people navigating when the tech trees are very complicated. Maybe you want to have some search engine or in some other efficient way to involve with the tech tree. Yeah.
So I guess what I'm asking is, if I want to use tech tree today, how, can I use it and start collaborating with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Someone already sent me a message. Is that okay? I said yes, and we actually communicate how we can utilize the tech tree now. So feel free to contact. Another point I didn't talk about is that social media is really powerful, right? There's some, let's say, YouTube, it's showing very basic, the fundamental science and making videos about the, let's say, physical role or chemistry experiments in our life. So I really hope if get bigger impact, people will be interested about talking about, in specific research field in the tech tree, they make some video and explain in an easier way. My advisor for the startup gave some interview, but those interviews are kind of more academic, scientific interview, right? Talk about what research has been done. But I hope someone have a expertise about social media can express the general topic in an easier way for the general public. So tech tree actually gave them a chance rather than reading the literature. Those are considerably tougher.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
Yuanning,
Yeah.
what's your favorite current use case for our tech trees or possible use case for our tech trees?
That's a very good question, I think. So the tech tree, as I told you, it's actually visualize all those challenges and the futures. for researchers, they usually read review articles and find the references and seeking collaborations. But for the tech tree, let me just go back to show you. Maybe here, yeah. If I want to, let's see, my expertise can contribute to the tech tree here. I don't need to search in a Google search or whatever about those topics. I just come to tech tree and click on the note. The note actually helps you to find those literature and potential collaborators. So I really like this function and hope in the future it gives a much easier access. Therefore, more people will just come rather than, oh, I don't even have access for the, let's say, scientific journals, right? Then you need to subscribe those by paying a certain fee or through the universities. But for tech tree, you actually find them in a much easier way.
So if the tech tree becomes this massive centralized resource like we want it to, how many people, how big of a team would it take to maintain, considering how fast technology moves, and keep it up to date?
That's a very good question. Yeah, we really want to think about if the tech tree could grow enormously. The one thing I really like is, maybe all we know is Wikipedia. Wikipedia, yeah, there are so many contributors for the Wikipedia. If you have your own expertise in certain Wikipedia topic, you can contribute to the Wikipedia topic. And maybe in the tech tree in the future, not only myself, my team, all the people, researchers, they can publish paper on a journal, and after they publish that, they can just add their latest research on the tech tree and say, my research is related to what kind of node, and please find my new latest research here, and they can even write in detail about what happened in the specific node, or even a lot of nodes together. So I think it will be a bright future if many, many people join together and build a huge tree. Yeah.
What would the verification process be like for contributors when it becomes more public? Can anyone contribute to the tech tree?
I think at the early stage, some people with the expertise need to approve that, because some of them may not be real or true. That's
Right.
something happened in social media, right? We have rumors, fake news, whatever in social media. That's similar to our tech tree, especially our tech tree is about science. If you have some, let's say, fake data for the scientific literature, someone cited, but the future following research will be useless. So we need to be very careful for adding nodes at the early stage. But if we have enough, let's say, domain expert or contributor for each of the expertise. Let me have an example. Is Kun Yuan now in the audience. He's an expert in the porous material. So if some new nodes will be added for the porous material, I may not be the best person to approve those. So I will ask for people who have the expertise. They could be professors or a postdoc in relative fields, so that they can review or read the literature in depth and find out those are good nodes. And then add those notes for the general audience, which we actually help people to read the literature and find out the relationship between those two notes. Yes, please.
I mean, a good first stab at this to verify users could be just using people's Google Scholar, because if someone is an expert in a field, they probably have published a paper or two, and then they have a Google Scholar now.
Yes.
So just like having that verification through that would be like so much faster.
Yes.
Wiki has a process where the bots do this work.
Yes.
Yeah, and the bots are quite vicious. They find things that are false.
Yeah. That's actually a very good point. And just suddenly another mind comes to myself is that we have those functions, right? Like react to a node. If some node just being added lots of dislike, right? We know, what's happened to this node? Maybe something wrong there.
Yeah.
So we can easily find out what's happened as well. So open to public give a power to the general audience, and they can help us to find out and also contribute to each other, which is also important. Yes, please.
You may have answered this, but so you can use this today, right?
Yeah.
How many people are using it today?
That's a good question, because this is the second presentation to introduce the Foresight Institute in France, actually, in Vision Weekend for the new user interface of the tech tree. So we're just about to start to give the see the QR code to the general public, and maybe my inbox will be full.
Yeah,
after that.
check it out. Let's get some more users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a really important project for Foresight, something we put a lot of work into.
Yeah.
I can help with pushing it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, this
Check
is-
it out.
Yeah.
This is very much needed.
Just
I mean, one question I'm interested in is if you think about one of the use cases is prioritization, right? So for example, I imagine that you are a funder of research and you want to know, is there a rough consensus within the field that this is an important bottleneck, and if we were able to address this, it would have a big impact on the field.
Yes.
That this information by itself, while useful, doesn't help you answer that question.
Yeah.
What, for some definition of we, what should we be doing that we're not currently doing? So, let's say that you were, an NSF program manager in biomimetic molecular machines. What's the additional functionality or social process that you would need so that this helps inform the question, is there an area of research that we're funding relative to its importance?
Yeah. I think that you actually raised up a good point, is that if tech tree fits into the funding resources, is that you can, how to say, people will see, let me go back to this is an introduction for different functions. People will see what are the current challenges and bottlenecks. And some of them you see have come to the end, right? That's maybe something we want to overcome, and something have some application after the challenge. That's something kind of important to overcome those challenges. So if some funding resources look at the tree, they will find out, for example, right now this challenge only linked to one application. Maybe another channel have a 10 application linking to that. So that is a keynote for the funding resource. Yeah, will be. And they will see what has been done on the left-hand side. For example, there are 10 technology we have already developed, but we have a bottleneck. After overcome this, there will be another 10 applications, let's say, in the future. So that funding agency will see we really want to focusing on the specific challenge, and that's how tech tree is helpful. But imagine without the tech tree, people need to read the scientific literature to find out, which is much tougher.
Yeah, I was just thinking, man, like normally the way to solve that problem is to go look, do a literature search and hope that somebody's written up a literature review.
Yeah.
But those are always out of date, and so this is sort of like a way of like a visual, always up to date literature review.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right now, as I told you, it's just in the future, 10 of them link to one challenge, or the challenge application technology will cross-linking each other like a network, and you will see this is a key challenge, this is a key application, whatever. Yeah. And you can even search if a funding agency, they can search, I want to solve a certain, let's say, drug delivery. Let's see, not only drug delivery in the biomimic molecular machine, maybe also in another tree sections. Let's see, they can always navigate to see, it appears many different places. We need to focus on that. And what are the challenges? Challenge number 1 here, challenge number 2 there, and they can decide, what kind of challenge we want to give the fund to. As I mentioned at the beginning of my talk, this field have a good scientific community, but mostly are supported by the governmental agencies rather than, like, say, companies, pharmaceutical companies, for example, or other funding resources.
In this specific tree.
In the field of molecular machine, because it's relatively fundamental science. So only government like to fund it. Some people may say, we can't find a good application, but actually we need to navigate to find out the future challenge and application. Maybe the application and the technology have a challenge in between, but we haven't found it. So that's why I say challenge is between the application and the technology. So I hope that can be very helpful. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Yuanning.
Thank you. And you are all very welcome to contact me for the detail. I know this talk started earlier, so let's shift the schedule. So feel free to talk to me after 3:30. Right, there's a section for the tech tree discussion.
All right.